Hey, it is Xennial Gamer, and today we're going to be talking about cell exclusion settings. Now, I am actually starting off in the dimensional hole because I want to point out one thing about cell exclusion settings, which is that they don't allow you to differentiate between ancients just yet. Which means that I do a little bit of manual checking on my ancients. Specifically, what I do is just a quick double click, just like that, and then I decide if I want to keep it or sell it. All right, with that caveat given, I am going to tell you guys I have some of the most complicated cell exclusion settings out there. When this video releases, I will drop a time and date on the screen right now, and I will be sure to share these settings at that time and date. It's a one-shot deal. If you don't catch that share, then you can also obviously just screen grab through the video. With that said, let's jump straight into runes. So with runes, it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, we're just selling all 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stars, just everything marked. Slots 2, 4, and 6 all have flat HP, attack, and defense marked. Then we get to 6 star, and you'll notice to start off with, I have heroes checked. This is one thing that confuses a lot of people. Cell exclusion means you're excluding runes that would ordinarily be sold under your settings. So you're setting your settings to sell a lot of stuff, and then you're excluding the stuff that you want to keep. So as such, for 6 stars, I have everything checked up to hero. I look at every legend rune manually. We're basically just farming for legend runes, but this is how I have it configured. Now keep in mind, guys, I have an extremely deep account. For those of you who know my account, you know what I mean. If you don't know my account, I have very, very deep runes. I have very, very good runes. I'm in Skyfall, Guardian 2 RTA. I'm a consistent rank 2 in Arena. I can't seem to pull off the legend, but I've gotten rank 2 7 times. I have a very deep account. So my standard for the runes that I keep and sell is higher than many of yours should be. I will try to note throughout this video where I think people should keep at a lower standard. If I forget somewhere, just keep in mind that you should tailor these settings to your account. The point here is to show you the general configuration that I use, and then you can choose the numbers that make sense for your own account and the rune sets and so forth. So with that said, cell exclusion 1, you see I'm excluding hero grade quality. Legend doesn't matter because I'm looking at them all anyway. And I'm specifically excluding Swift Will, Vio, Despair, and Intangible runes. Now in this particular configuration, I have not used any of the rune property stuff or the rune slot stuff. I have only one setting that looks at that, which is an exclusion for speed runes. That is because I am keeping a very high standard on my account. However, I would, instead I'd point this out, I would recommend for most people that you keep a slightly lower standard for your slot 246 than you do for your slot 135, because 135 is easier to get. So you may want to consider adding in an additional setting for a lower standard on those 246. Now, with that said, this setting right here is basically saying keep all hero runes with 6 speed or more that have a sub-property, that have an innate property, and I'll roll them. I think most people should probably be keeping this without the innate requirement and probably at a 5 or even a 4, but these are for the core rune set. So this is Swift Will, Despair, Vio, and Intangible. I then have a second one right here, and you'll see now I am using some main properties. I'm using, it's basically slot 246, but I'm doing it through main properties. So you can do this the exact same way, except in this case it's not looking at speed runes, so it's looking at every 246 except speed runes. Now this exclusion setting is for all the other sets that are usable in my eyes that were not covered in the first exclusion. So what do I mean by that? Well, here we have Swift, Despair, Will, Vio, and Intangible, and here you can see we have no tolerance, no determination. Those are rune sets that I don't really want to keep even a lower standard of. No Rage and Fatal, because those are covered in a different exclusion property. So other than those, it's got basically everything, and it's looking at only slots 246, and it's basically saying if you've got 6 speed and an innate, keep these and we'll roll them. So if you put those two together, what does that mean? It means that I'm not rolling a blade slot 1 for speed ever, because I don't need speed on slot 1. Well, I shouldn't say ever. I'll roll legends. I'm not rolling a hero blade slot 1 for speed ever, because it's not covered in either exclusion. I'm not rolling tolerance hero runes for speed ever. I'm rolling runes that I think would be usable if I got a triple on a hero rune. and that's only for our speed exclusions. Now we come to, I mentioned, Blade Rage Fatal, Fight, and Intangible. These are your 5 primary damage sets. In other words, these are your main PvE / sniper cleave type sets. It's the stuff that you put on your Lucians, your Sonyas, your Bethany's. Well, Sonya's more swift, but your fat monster builds for Siege, Magnum for RTA or Siege, if you will, and then basically all your PvE stuff. So for this, I'm looking for 2. Notice this is 2 sub-properties now. Looking for 2 sub-properties on hero runes with a prefix, and it's got to have 2 of either max crit rate, max crit damage, or max attack roll. If you're not very deep in this type of rune, lower these numbers a little bit. If you're not very deep in this type of rune, drop the requirement for sub-properties. Your mileage will vary based on your own account. Alright, so moving on to our 4th rune exclusion setting, you'll notice that we're looking for, once again, the key slot 246 main properties. This time we're looking on all runes, and we're looking for anything that is a max roll. We're looking for 3 or more max rolls of speed, HP, attack, defense, crit damage, or crit rate. I don't have accuracy on here. Some of you could use it. Again, things that you could adjust tailored to your account. I'm looking for 3 max rolls only with an innate. So these types of runes, this is where you get like your really high triples on 110 plus efficiency rune. Even though it's hero, it'll oftentimes wind up having a lot more stats than most of the legends you roll. These types of runes can be really OP, and with the mix of damage stats in here, it can help PvE teams, but generally speaking, this is just our efficiency chasing set. And then we're gonna skip over artifacts. We're gonna go next to gems and grinds. So you'll see once again, I've got everything marked up to hero. These may be a little bit more marked up than some of you have, but keeping in mind that this is cell exclusion settings. So if we go into our exclusion settings, there's a lot of them on this one. I'm gonna run through these a little bit faster. There's 7 of them. The first exclusion setting is an exclusion for legend, and this is actually a limiter, not an exclusion. So on the homepage, you'll see we're not marked up to sell legends, so it will automatically keep them. However, by creating this limiter, what it's saying is let me have more than 5 of any of these unless there is a later exclusion with a higher number, which there are. What that actually means is that, for example, I will never have more than 5 flat defense legend gems of tolerance because I don't have an additional exclusion. grinded, and then I'm keeping 7 as a baseline of everything. All right, guys, very, very important. I did not want to do this as just an on-screen text. I forgot to show exclusion setting number 8 here for gems and grinds. This is the one that ensures that you're not selling legend gems that are important to you. So this is the counterbalance to the exclusion setting number 1. Number 1 sets a limit of 5 of all legend gems, and then number 8 excludes the ones that you want to keep. So in this case, you can see that I have it set for, the basic HP, attack, and defense percent and speed for all of the sets that I find useful. Lastly, we have what's probably the most complicated one, and certainly the most complicated one to repeat, which is artifacts. So the opening screen, same thing, we just go to hero. We do have 8 cell exclusion settings here. I'm not going to talk you guys through every single number. That would get redundant. I will scroll through every number, so if you want to pause and copy them, you're welcome to. You'll notice that first cell exclusion is saying just keep 1 or more. This is all attribute stuff. Attribute only, main property HP. So I broke it down by type or attribute, and then I broke it down by flat stat, basically. In this case, I'm saying keep all damage ups at 18, all damage downs at 20. I am not bothering to keep a few different things like attack up percent and crit damage taken. I have a couple of these that are high rolled from back in the day. I'll get some of these from Legends. You don't need that many of these. So I'm not saying you automatically sell all attack up, defense up percent attribute, but I will say that generally speaking, you want a lot more attack up percent on your type side. Attribute tends to be more about an elemental manipulation. So the couple I have is enough. Same thing for crit damage taken. You would usually prefer to just do element damage down on your attribute and crit damage down, crit damage taken on your type. Life drain, just useless. I don't have any use for it. I have none of them saved. Then additionals, most of these numbers, they're somewhat arbitrary for me, but it's basically just somewhere between mid-roll triple and a high-roll triple. And last thing I keep on this side is counterattack co-op damage. Next we have type stuff, and this is once again HP. So we're keeping mid-roll triples on all the crit damage stuff, roughly mid-roll triples on recovery stuff, and these numbers are set based on what the thresholds are for my account. In other words, I've farmed more artifacts than some, less than others. These are the artifact levels that upgrade my account. Set those numbers according to what upgrades your account. But you will notice throughout all of this, I value HP and attack artifacts about equally, and I value both of them much more so than defense. So my sell number is a lot higher on defense. My keep numbers are lower on HP or attack, but they do shift a little bit. I keep offensive stats at lower thresholds on flat attack. I keep damage down stuff at lower thresholds on HP. All right, so we move through accuracy. Once again, roughly mid-roll triples. Once again, not keeping some of the effect up stuff. Speed up effect, I'm looking for a max triple or better. And then we come down here to the additional, same numbers as on the last screen. We come to some CD stuff. These are basically all just mid to high roll triples, and that's the entirety. Then we come to flat attack. This is attribute, so we're going to rotate back and forth, attribute and type. For flat attack attribute, we're keeping 17% up by element, 21% down by element. We are keeping the attack up effect just because it synergizes better with a flat attack artifact. Once again, looking for that max triple and speed up, a little bit of bomb damage, not keeping the crit damage life drain stuff. Same numbers on the additionals. CDs, we're looking for basically max roll doubles on these numbers, I think. And CD is enemy is less. I think I'm not keeping this because I just had too many of them. There are uses for CD as enemy is less, but they're mostly PvE uses. So once you have enough of them, you don't need to keep keeping them. One other thing I want to show you guys, for those of you who have never seen this before, this does not work on Steam, by the way, but it works everywhere else. If you click in the box, up here on the top, you can see the min and max value. What this shows you is what a max quad is. So you have to do some mental math, but if you don't mind doing that, you can see, for example, a max quad on co-op damage is 20. So if you can go 20 divided by 5 is 4. Max quad is actually 5 rolls because you start with 1. We know the roll range is 2 to 4% by looking at the min value being 2 and the division of the max 5 roll being 4. So our roll range is 2 to 4%. All right, moving on, we have got attribute defense. Once again, So we're keeping damage up at 20, which is max triple. So we're only keeping max triple or better. We've got damage down at 24, so we're only keeping max triple. Now, these numbers are set because I already have a handful of flat defenses that are like 17, 18% for every element combination, a handful of flat defense down that are like 20, 22% for every element combination. You should have some. Flat defense has value. You just don't need as many as you do HP and attack. So again, please adjust the numbers according to what your account has or does not have. All right, speed up effect, max triple. You can see there's more stuff I'm not keeping because it's flat defense. The additional damage number is same as before. We're not keeping CD stuff because it's flat defense, so we're not going to use that stuff. And we'll move on here to, once again, type, flat attack. Here, because we are looking at flat attack on the type side, we're looking for just under max double on the crit damage stuff. We are looking for max triple or close to max triple on the recovery stuff because we use less recovery and more crit damage. We're looking for mid-roll triple on accuracy. We're looking for max double to mid-roll triple on the effect stuff. Looking for max triple on, or one-off max triple on bomb damage. Same numbers on additionals that we've... well, you guys saw it on the original screenshot. Same numbers on additionals that we've been looking at the entire time. CD stuff, once again, we're looking for about a mid-roll triple. And then we can move over here to the type side, flat defense. We're looking for max doubles on crit damage. There are more uses for flat defense damage type stuff because you do have defense-based damage dealers, defense-based ignore damage dealers, stuff like that. You don't need a lot of S1 accuracies. I have enough, so I just took that one off. I still get some of them from legend drops because remember, these exclusion settings are only applying to hero as well. We're looking for mid-rolls on the S2 act, not taking any of the effect stuff, any of the crit damage, life drain stuff, same numbers on the additionals. We're looking once again for about max triple on the CD stuff, a little bit of co-op damage. All right, now it gets interesting. So you saw all the type and all the element stuff. Some of you guys may have noticed that my thresholds for additional damage were really high. So to offset that, we also need a way to keep multiple properties for additional and multiple properties for crit damage. So this one right here is basically saying on all runes, if they have 3 or more of additional damage, keep it. These are all min rolls, basically, except for the, these are actually mid rolls. I'm sorry, these are all mid rolls. So it's a min roll HP because it only rolls either min or max. There is no mid, and then it's mid rolls in the others. That's it. That's the entirety of this setting. It's saying if there's 3 or more additional damage, keep it. Now, if you do not have a lot of additional damage artifacts, this number should be 2. If you do have a lot of additional damage artifacts, then this number has to be 3 because those are your only options. So for me, when I have something with 3 additional damage properties, I can convert the 4th and make it quad additional damage. A lot of these runes do still, or excuse me, these artifacts do still wind up being cells, by the way, because you may get 3 mid rolls, or rather you may get 3 additionals that each have 1 roll into them, and then you get like a triple into life drain, and then that's just a straight cell. So yeah, I look at the artifact, there's a little bit more to look at, but it's not that many, and it makes sure that I keep those ones that are like double, single into the additionals, where it's a really good additional, but it would not get caught by just saying only give me triples into HP. And then the last one is the exact same thing, but this is for crit damage stuff. So it's just saying anytime we have 3 or more mid rolls of anything that has crit damage or attack up effect, basically keep it and let me review it. So that is it, guys. That is the entirety of my cell exclusion settings. So as always, guys, hope you found it useful. Hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.